Today we are going to continue with our lessons on how to start a cement block business, and today's topic is product knowledge. Please get yourself a pen and a paper so that you can just write these important notes, because product knowledge is the most important part of your business. If you don't understand your product, then it makes it very difficult for you to be able to service your customers. Now, with cement blocks, there are a few things that you need to know, and these are the following. Number one, on every ton, a pickup of a ton, there is 10 wheelbarrows. So write down, 1 ton is equal to 10 wheelbarrows. It's either 10 wheelbarrows of sand, 10 wheelbarrows of quarry dust. On a ton, you can produce about 70. You can produce 70 blocks from a ton of quarry dust. On a ton, there is okay. Let me explain it in this way. 1 bag of cement, you can, with five wheelbarrows of quarry dust, you can make 35 blocks. So it means 2 bags of cement, which will give you 10 wheelbarrows, can produce 70 blocks. So every time when you're going to buy your material and you buy 100 tons, you need to just multiply that by 2 to get the number of cement blocks. So this becomes much easier for you to understand. And if a client is asking you that he or she wants 3,000 blocks, you just have to divide that by 35 to get the number of bags of cement that you will need to make those blocks. Okay, once you find the total of the bags, you can always divide that number by 2, because we know that on each and every ton, there's 2 bags of cement. So you can just divide that by 2, then it will give you the total of tonnage that you need for your blocks. I'm trying to always explain it very simply, very easily. I know that if you ask a quantity surveyor, the quantity surveyor does calculations using cubic meters and all those things. But me, I'm using experience, meaning that there was a time when I was building my house and I had a 1-ton pickup. So I used to go to Terrastone. And when I was at Terrastone, I would load 1 ton in my pickup. So when I used to go there to make blocks, I discovered I was making 70 blocks. That means I was using 10 wheelbarrows for each and every ton that I was collecting. It was a very tedious process, because I was building a house in Shitipi. And now imagine collecting the materials, because using a 1-ton vehicle. It was very, very tiresome. But I learned from that, because every trip that I made, I had to do 10 wheelbarrows. That's when I discovered that 1 ton is equal to 10 wheelbarrows. It's not something that I went to study somewhere or learn somewhere, but I learned it out of experience. So because of that important aspect, it allowed me to be able to do this kind of calculations. All right. When a client is going to build their home, and the architect or the quantity surveyor has told them that they're going to use 3,000 blocks, you can also assist that client to do calculations for their house. This is how you do it. When you are building your house using the 150 by 400 by 200 blocks, 1 bag of cement is going to lay 80 blocks. I want to emphasize on this one. I want to repeat again. 1 bag of cement is going to lay 80 blocks. Most of the people are getting confused, because now when I say it's going to lay 80 blocks, they think I'm saying 1 bag of cement is going to make 80 blocks. It's not going to make 80 blocks. 1 bag of cement makes 35 blocks. But this time, 1 bag of cement is going to lay 80 blocks. That means a bricklayer is going to lay 80 blocks when building a house with 1 bag of cement. So if a client is going to use 3,000 blocks to build his house, you just simply have to divide 80 or 3,000 by 80. It will give the number of bags of cement. And then when we are building the house, normally myself, I would do 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust for building. but others, they will do up to, I do 1 bag of cement with 4 wheelbarrows of quarry dust for building, but some people will do it with 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust. If you're doing 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust, you know now that if you have calculated the number of blocks that are bags of cement that are going to be required to build your client's house, you actually now know how to calculate for tonnage of quarry dust. So first of all, you will take the 3,000 blocks for the house, divide by 80 to get the number of bags. And you know that each bag is going to be mixed with 5 wheelbarrows. So you multiply the answer by 5 to get the total number of wheelbarrows. After you found yourself the total number of wheelbarrows, you can divide that by 10, because we know that 10 wheelbarrows is equal to 1 ton. And I know that many people, they're still finding this very difficult. But I can go back again in the recap to say, if you remember that 1 ton is equal to 10 wheelbarrows, it will make life very easy. And if you remember that 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust makes 35 blocks, it will become very easy. Because now you know that if 10 wheelbarrows are equal to 1 ton, then 10 wheelbarrows are also equal to 70 blocks. Because 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust produces 35 blocks. That's how easy it is. When you are building, 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust will lay 80 blocks. You are going to build 80 blocks. Yeah? Kumanga nyumba mabloko 80. 1 bag of cement akhoza kumanga mabloko 80. Osati kupanga mabloko 80. Pamene popo mumvesetse kwambiri. Ndifuna ndibwereze kwambiri chifukwa every time I do a video, when I finish, people, they end up asking me, you said that 1 bag of cement produces 80 blocks. I didn't say that. Because when you are watching a video that is educating you, this is how I learn. I learn online most of the times. So what I do is I switch my head in a learning mode. So I try to absorb each and every information that's being shared. But many people, when they watch these things, their mind is already biased. So when they're listening, they don't listen at all. You'll find that a video has just been played and the person is asking different things that were never said in the video. So if you can listen to me carefully, I'm saying 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust can make 35 blocks. Those are the 150 by 400 by 200. If you're doing the 200 by 400 by 200, 1 bag of cement by 5 wheelbarrows of quarry dust will produce around 20 to 23 blocks. Because those blocks are much bigger, so they are less. But you will still be able to calculate because you know that 1 bag plus 5 will give you 20. So this time, instead of you dividing by 35, you will start dividing by 20 to get the tonnage that you want and the results that you want. But you just have to use the formula. I'll try to see if I can put a formula, and also on the description of this video, I'm going to give this information by typing it so that you can be able to understand. And when you want to calculate your profits that you're making using when producing cement blocks. So first of all, you can say, okay, it's 1,500 blocks or 2,000 blocks. You divide that by 35 to get the number of bags you're going to use, and then you take that number of bags, put a total, and also you can calculate that number of bags, multiply by 5 to get the number of wheelbarrows, divide by 10 to get the tonnage, and that tonnage you also go to the quarry stone place and get the amount, you put it together. Then also you look at the transportation. How much is the transport is costing you to bring that quarry dust? You add it together. So you do the total of that. And then once you find the answer, including the labor, the water, the amount of money that you're spending on the water, you add it all together. And then you divide that by the number of blocks to get the cost of each block, how much it's costing you to make that block. We did some calculations to Area 25. It is costing us about 390 kwacha per block. to actually make here on our site. In anybody who's around area 25, if you're buying your quantities from the Chinese, it will cost you 390. But in this business, you have what we call fixed costs and the variable costs. Fixed costs are costs that you cannot change, like transport. If you're taking 25 tons all the time, it will be the same amount that you're going to spend. That's a fixed cost. Fixed cost can be also the amount of the cost of cement. If you're buying one bag all the time, it will still be the same price. So that's a fixed cost. But then on the variable cost, it's things that fluctuates in the cost depending on the situations. For instance, if you can look at, say, okay, labor, I'll be paying per day. It will be different from if you pay per block. And also, it will be different from if you pay per week, or it will be different from paying a salary. So you will be playing around with the variable costs, because the profit in this business is in the variable costs. The lesser you're going to spend on labor and on curing and all those areas, it's how you're going to make your profit. So you would be playing around with those variable costs so that you can see how you can make your profit, because it differs from different people and also differs in the areas that you're coming from. So variable costs is where your profit is lying on, because you have the fixed cost of which you cannot change that price, because cost of cement will be the same and also the transportation will always be the same. But then when it comes to curing the water, you can buy a pump and then you start using a pump instead of using ladies to collect your water. And also on labor, you can also reduce actually the cost of labor by maybe paying a salary also, for instance. So you can be working around on that. So, but when we did this calculation, we did it on if you are paying a worker 100 kwacha per block. So that's why it was costing 390. But now, say, for instance, you're paying a salary, you're actually going to reduce the cost also. It can come down maybe to 340 kwacha or 330 kwacha per block. So yeah, that's how you calculate your profits, and that's the topic of today about product knowledge. Thank you very much. If you got any questions, always feel free to type the questions, and also if you think there's other topics that you want me to touch on, feel free to do it. The next subject we are going to do is going to be on how to market your business. Thank you.